Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brews with Brian, a craft beer review podcast. Craft beer is beer that is brewed in smaller breweries, not these big corporate machine breweries that we're all aware of. Craft beer is made with patience and time, and the people that brew this stuff care about the product they're delivering to us. On this week's show, I'm reviewing Juicy Bunny from Straight to Ale, Downtown North Porter from Druid City Brewing Company, and Sweetwater Blue from Sweetwater Brewing Company. The show is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify, so don't forget to tell your friends, like, and share the show. But let's kick this show off. And the first beer on this week's show is Juicy Bunny from Straight to Ale out of Huntsville, Alabama. Juicy Bunny has an ABV of 6.2% and a year-round availability. The description from the website says there's loads of late addition and dry hopping with healthy doses of fruit-forward hops. It's got a soft mouthfeel with nice haze, and it's so very juicy. This beer pours a lemon yellow color, very hazy with a frothy head. Aromas of a ton of hops, mostly tropical flavors and some citrus. It's a very pleasant aroma. The taste is fragrantly hoppy but not too bitter. As the name suggests, it's quite juicy in flavor and has a nice dry finish. It's got a medium-bodied mouthfeel with moderate carbonation, right around average for a 6.2% ABV beer. Overall, this is an unfiltered pale ale that is juicy, flavorful, and easy drinking. Given the competition in this style, it does not stand out to me, but it's a very good beer. And this beer comes from Straight to Ale. It's from Huntsville, Alabama, which is one of the breweries close to where I live, so I can get this anytime I need it or want it. So check Straight to Ale out. They make a ton, and I mean a ton, of good beer. And this one is not the best, but it's still pretty good. I think you'd probably enjoy it if you enjoy a nice pale ale. Well, overall, I'm going to give Juicy Bunny from Straight to Ale 3 stars. And the next beer on this week's show is Downtown North Porter from Druid City Brewing Company out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Downtown North Porter has an ABV of 9.1% and a year-round availability. There was no description I could find on the website for this beer. It's just a porter. This beer pours black to the naked eye. You can see some deep walnut highlights showing through when held up to the light. The head is nice and creamy, 2 fingers of cocoa-colored goodness that laces very well. Aroma is wonderful, lots of good roasted malts with loads of chocolate and light vanilla hints along with some earthy hints as well. This thing smells amazing. Tasting this beer is pretty much like the nose, good roasted malts with solid chocolate and vanilla notes. Not quite as wonderful as the nose makes it seem, but it is better than most. It's very enjoyable and easy drinking, no hints of the 9.1% ABV. They may appear after it warms, but I can't keep my glass full for that long. The mouthfeel is nice. It's not as full as a 9% would leave you to believe it is, but it's pretty smooth, and it's not very chewy at all. This is a really good beer. Druid City recently got bought out by Straight to Ale from Huntsville, and now we can actually get their beer in North Alabama, which is a plus. So if you can find it, you need to try anything by Druid City. They do some great stuff. But overall, I'm going to give Downtown North Porter from Druid City Brewing Company 4 stars. And the last beer on this week's show is Sweetwater Blue from Sweetwater Brewing Company out of Atlanta, Georgia. Sweetwater Blue has an ABV of 4.9% and a year-round availability. The description from the website says Sweetwater Blue is a unique, light-bodied ale and enhanced with a hint of fresh blueberries. This euphoric experience begins with an appealing blueberry aroma and finishes as surprisingly thirst-quenching ale. This beer pours a slightly hazy pale yellow color with a 1/4 white head that visibly proceeds to leave a small ring around the glass with no lacing. At first sipping creates small spots of lacing that slides back down to the liquid, but by the middle of the glass there's almost nothing. The aroma includes some noticeably blueberries with a bit of wheat and malt in the background. The flavors are much as expected from the nose with the blueberry up front, backed up by the grains. There's a noticeably bit of sweetness from the malt and no sign of hops. The mouthfeel is light-bodied and slightly creamy with the moderate persistent carbonation. The finish begins as all the flavors fade pretty much together, leaving just a final hint of blueberry to close the show. This is a nice, drinkable beer that seems well designed for summer drinking. It's light, slightly fruity, and goes down easy. It seems very well suited for a party on the porch on a pleasant summer evening. And Sweetwater's a big brewery out of Atlanta, and they make some good stuff too. And you can find this stuff anywhere. So give it a shot. Maybe you'll like it. I enjoyed this beer. But overall, I'm going to give Sweetwater Blue from Sweetwater Brewing Company 4 stars. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Brews with Brian. I want to thank everybody for listening. The show continues to grow each and every week. We keep adding more listeners or more states or more countries around the world. So I say thank you for that. On this week's show, I reviewed Juicy Bunny from Straight to Ale, Downtown North Porter from Druid City Brewing Company, and Sweetwater Blue from Sweetwater Brewing Company. Now, you can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. So don't forget to like and share the show. If you've got friends that enjoy craft beer, maybe they'll enjoy me talking about it. I want to give a special shout out to Southern Package, my hometown craft beer shop. It's the only place that I buy my craft beer. So if you live in Northwest Alabama, check them out. They're wonderful people. They'll treat you right. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of Brews with Brian, and we'll see you next time.